All right, we are here at the Arnold Classic, Flex Wheeler, and man, despite just being the legend that you are in this sport, one of my favorite physiques of all time.
Really, thank you.
Absolutely, you got to take on a new role this year, and you introduced a prize this year. Talk to me a little bit about that, and then what that was like for you.
Well, first, I just want to thank Bob Lormer. After my surgery, my amputee contacted me about a month afterwards and said, "Hey, how you doing? I want to bring you out as a special guest in the Arnold." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not really sure I can do that. Things are really new." And he said, "I just want to extend, I want to bring you out and you be my special guest and, carte blanche and all that stuff." And I said, "Wow, Bob, that's really great. I appreciate it. I'll let you know." And as it started to come to more fruition that I'd be able to, I said, "Are you putting on a wheelchair division?" He goes, "Yeah, we are." And I go, "Man, I'd really love to hand the trophy out, to the overall champion." He said, "We'll make it happen." So, you've heard all my speeches before and all that stuff, but, I just, I really have a desire that now I'm in this incredible position because I look at it as a blessing to be able to help people in a genre that I would never be able to before. Because now not only do I understand them, I am one of them, and I see things completely different. Like kind of what I say is, I look at the world being 4 foot tall, sitting like this, and just everything is so different. But I have tremendous support from the Lormers, even you guys interview me, but there's people, that are in my same predicament or even worse than they're on their own. And, that kills me. And I just got to figure out a way to be able to reach out and help. So I want to, open up some type of nonprofit organization. I've already talked to the company that sponsors me. So again, I'm just truly blessed. I have a sponsor that makes my prosthetic, and I'll sponsor you for the rest of your life. Don't ever worry about it. And they said, "Hey, listen, in the United States, we're not allowed to give away old prosthetics, but in other countries we can. So, any prosthetics you need, we'll do that." So it's just really an honor. It's a double-edged sword. It's difficult. Sometimes, I can barely get out of bed, or I just lay in bed, for days. It's in agony and pain. But I just really felt that I was picked to be able to, to carry this torch. And, I'm really kind of arrogantly proud that I'm in this position to help out less unfortunate people. And I don't want people to feel bad for me. There's so many people out worse than I am. There's people out who I handed the trophy out. They'll never be able to stand up again. I'll go through this, and once, I just started walking my prosthetic, 2 weeks ago. So it'll take about a year while I'll fully be able to walk, but they never will. So, how could you feel sorry for me? There's double amputees, there's triple and quadruple amputees, and that means they lost both leg and an arm or both arms. There's all kind of handicaps out there, or whether they're, disabled mentally. I've struggled with suicidal thoughts and suicidal tendencies, and probably over 100 times throughout my career I tried to kill myself. So there's so many different dynamics that people are just screaming for help out there. So, I really feel everything I've been through, kidney transplant, back surgeries, knee surgeries, in a hospital for years trying to recover. I have a number of different hats I can wear and be very comfortable in rooms. I can be comfortable in the rooms with millionaires. I can be comfortable in the room with millionaires who lost their money. And, I can be comfortable in a room with kids who are suicidal, homeless. I've been homeless before and all that. So I just really feel that, my Father upstairs allowed me to go through these tremendous things that I can then turn around and help those people. When you talk to somebody who's real and who's really been through something, first thing you're going to say is like, "Man, you know what it's like. You know what I've been through. Don't try to talk to me." Well, I've been blessed to go through that. And, I'm still trying to find my way out. But, it's a necessary evil that I have to find my way out and master this. And not only then could I sit in front of somebody who was in my shoes at one time and look in their eyes and have them look me back in my eyes and, "Okay, I know you know." And that's something special to me. And, I'm really excited to take on this challenge. It's difficult. It takes a team. For me, I have a number of different problems. One is obviously phantom pain. But I also have neuropathy. I have nerve damage, so I'm in pain 24 hours a day. It never goes away. But at the end of the day, out of all the surgeries I had and times I've been in the hospital, he could have called me anytime, and I'm still here. So
There's a reason, you know. I was talking to to the competitors last night, and some of them that are starting to near the end of their careers, and one of the things that is your job. You were the champion. You're a legend, and I feel like one of your jobs as you get out of the sport is that you give back. And I think what's cool about that is, you said he hasn't called you up yet, and there's a purpose. Is that you were able to recognize your purpose, a different blueprint. I mean, you have to change your blueprint in life when life throws you curves. And here you are, you're more worried about these other people. I think that's so admirable. What do you feel like in your career has given you the strength to really, or maybe in your life, to be able to have this view where I haven't heard you feel sorry for yourself ever, one time, at least publicly, I've never heard it. Here, you're worried about other people. What gives you that strength?
I mean, I'm just me, and I have my beliefs. I believe in a man upstairs, and I'm going to say something that's very controversial until the end of what I'm saying. I believe that my race is the most powerfulest race on this planet. I believe that we were meant to rule over all others. I think God designed my race to, and it says it, we are to rule over everything else, and that empowers me tremendously. And the race that I'm talking about is a human race. I'm not talking about color or diversity. I don't see that. So honestly, everything is from him. Now I have to go out and do my part and play my role, but that comes from him. And for some reason, I've always been ambitious to do great things. Just been really overdriven to do great things. But now I realize, and I don't take this the wrong way, but being a great athlete is nothing special. It really isn't. When you look at the bigger picture, I don't want to be known as Flex Wheeler or some these words that people use to describe me, iconic or a legend. I don't care about that. It don't mean anything to me. I want my legacy to be for just being a good human being. A humanitarian, and just somebody who tried to help everybody else. That's special. If you can run a certain speed or hit a golf ball or basketball or you build muscles, that's nothing special. I mean, how many people that are out there like that, and they're just the worst people in the world? How many billionaires and millionaires you got out there is just some of the worst people in the world. So when you say that doesn't mean anything to me. So I just want my merits to speak for me. And that's a difficult challenge. You put yourself out there. You put yourself out there to fail a lot. But at the end of the day, I'm just driven by him. And honestly, I used to always think as an athlete, I did this, blah, blah, blah. And I remember it was an epiphany. It was a few years ago. I was with my daughter, and we were in an In-N-Out Burger. And you can always kind of feel when someone recognizes you and they're trying to make their way over. They're looking at you, trying to read you. Are you approachable? And they're kind of nervous. So what I do is I make direct contact with them. I say, hey, how you doing? So the a young man approached me, and he's like, wow, said these things of what I meant to him and this, that, and other, and blah, blah, blah. And for the first time, it just dawned on him. It's like, he doesn't see me. He just see the glimmer or whatever God put in me. He just see just that much, and that much from him is incredibly powerful. And at that time, I realized, wow, I never been doing any of this. I've just been a tool. And if you say that what I said, spark something in you, come on, man, I'm a derelict. I can't do that. That's a man upstairs doing those things. I just hopefully, I'm a vessel that he used, and that doesn't mean I'm pristine or better than somebody else, or don't cuss or don't get angry or anything like that. I sin, daily. I'm in no control over that. If I was, I'd be a better person. But I'm a human being.
I'll say this, man. I'm religious myself, and I think that you have seeds planted in you, and you either choose to water those seeds or you don't. So whenever you say that had nothing to do with you, you were given talents, but you put in the work. And I know that you say that your bodybuilding career, it's like that's not what you have, but that doesn't mean anything to you anymore. At that, but that ability, we talk about the hero's journey. We all know about the hero's journey where, you have this rise to the top. You have this rise, and then something happens, and all of a sudden you're here.
What goes up always comes down, no matter what. No matter what.
Watching you right now, this is the hero's journey. What you're doing is now, you feel like you're here, but you are going up in a different direction for a different purpose. So while, maybe that's not what you like the most to be known for, that part of you, somebody being able to see somebody like you, the big, strong, man, and, that you can do all these things, be able to change your direction. Somebody who was less of, a person knows that they can change their direction because you came from a lot higher to a lot lower. For a lot of people, it's not that far of a fall. For you to be able to do that, man, I think that's really something, and it's so impressive to me to see that character transformation, because that's what I like you said, how many people do we know that are successful in sports and they're not a successful person? Yeah. They're not a good person.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to quote T.I., but he said you may be rich, but you piss poor morally, and a lot of, I can say us because I was that way. You just poor as a person. You might have money or looks or whatever it is, but you just poor. But no, I to be clear, I'm very happy what he allowed me to do, but I understand the bigger picture. That's the hook. I have to go out and do these great things to catch attention, but it wasn't to catch attention because of me and my notoriety or clothes or cars or girls or anything like that. It was to praise him. So, I don't want to, hey, listen, I don't want to ever be a person who's trying to throw, my beliefs on someone else, but I'm not going to be quiet about it either. Hey, if you know what, people in here cussing and doing whatever, they don't care. So why should I? But I'm not going to offend anybody. My point is, you don't take an incredible, beautiful light and put it underneath the table. You put it at the highest vantage point where it can be seen. So I think a lot of us are gifted. You're gifted to be able to do it right now. You're giving me a platform in doing that. Whether you can run, sing, you have good looks or whatever, that's a tremendous gift for you. You're given that gift for a reason. You're smart, you're compassionate, you have a business savvy to help people or whatever. They're gifts. And, I think like most of us as human beings, you get caught up in, I did this, or I was smart enough to do that, or if you're a doctor, I did this surgery, I saved your life. Oh, who helped?
Somebody else could have taken it pretty easily, right?
Yeah, but who helped you get in that position where you could learn? Who gave you that brain? Who gave you that everything else? So, but
one thing I want to touch on too is that you said, and this is a huge subject in this day and age, right? Suicide is huge. So whenever they talk about like gun violence, I think a lot of people don't realize that out of 40,000 gun deaths, 2/3 of those are actually suicides. And what kind of advice would you give to somebody if that's a thought that it's going through their mind, something that you've dealt with yourself?
Well, I mean, yeah, I've done with it. It's globally known. I mean, the first time I tried to kill myself, I was probably around 11 years old. And probably the last time I tried was probably just a few years ago. It's weird because most people think, geez, you're selfish. Look what you have. Think about your kids and you think about your family. And I do. It's very, very, very vivid when those moments come. I literally vision my kids standing on my coffin, screaming and crying. But it doesn't. When you're really, and I think it's an illness, I think it's a sickness, I think it's an imbalance of something. But those things doesn't trigger you not to. What you end up telling yourself is, yeah, that's horrible. But if I hurry up and pull this trigger, I ain't have to think that no more. So it doesn't spur you not to, it spurs you on to be more like that. There's no words, there's no help. It's just the man upstairs. I mean, I'm the only reason I'm still here is because for some force or reason or whatever that he wants it to be. So first and foremost, I would beg you to seek out guidance. I would beg you to try to, have a look at what he has to offer and all that. Other than that, just surround yourself with very powerful and enlightening people. And even still, I mean, if you're really bad like me, you can be around 1 billion people and be by yourself. It's that old comedic joke where, this incredible comedian comes into a, and talks about how depressed he is with a doctor. Oh, doc, I'm suicidal. I want to kill myself. And the doctor's like, stop. I got the great thing. Write down his prescription. I want you to go see this guy. Oh, he's so funny. He's going to change your life. And the guy goes, I am that guy. So here you can go and make all these people so happy, incredible, but you, that guy. No disrespect, but look at Robin Williams. Made all of us laugh. You would have never thought. But look, so us who are really dealing with you'll never know. I mean, the first time I mentioned that, I was in my late 20s, and when a book was written about me, it was the first time my family ever even knew any about that. And it's scary, and I think more so it's an epidemic now with kids, and it's frightening because I remember my daughter and my son's high school came and had me speak, and it was all to the top level college class taking seniors. They're all 4.5 and all this, right? And so I'm talking, and I just get a nose and open my big mouth, and I just said, how many guys out there are suicidal? I go, I am. How many guys ever tried? Probably like 90% raised their hand. And I'm like, wow. I bet most of these kids' parents have no idea. So it's really scary. I just think we're living in some very, very different times. So to answer your question, I don't really know.
I would say this, man. You said the first time I was at 11 years old. Imagine to try to quantify how many lives that you have inspired. I don't think you could quantify that. I mean, it's an unreal amount of people. If you had been able to succeed at that age, all those people would have lost somebody. People don't know your struggles, but you do inspire people, just like Robin Williams. He might not have known his struggles, but he inspired people, made people laugh, he made people happy. And I think that is a gift that is given to few amounts of people. Your ability to inspire people. I literally can see, every time I picture you, I see this black and white picture of you. You got these giant delts, and I remember I'd see that in the gym every day. And I was always known for my delts, not on your level, but I was like, that's what I got to look like. That's what I got to be. And it was inspirational to give me something to strive for, to reach high. I think that anybody out there, if they can see that you had more in your life to give, and then even now, in your career, you're still moving forward with something to change lives and to be an instrument. Also, even talking about depression, I think that's something, and suicide, I think that is something that most people, especially men, we hide our feelings really well, and we don't let people see that side of us. We feel like it's weak, but really, that's how you can get help. You're not alone in things.
Yeah. No, it's true, and that's the thing. We'll single ourselves out. We'll start being, not around people and so on, and that's when, the other guy, goes to work on you really hard. His first thing is singling you out and getting you away from people, and he's great at, getting into your mind and thinking all those things. So, I don't have the answer. I'm not sure if anyone has the answer, and if they did, they haven't shared it, or else it probably would have stopped. My only thought is, would save me, and that's the man upstairs.
What specifically would you say has ever gone through your mind that you can say during this moment, whenever I had this feeling, this thought or this verse is what?
It's one very clear verse, and that's, if you kill yourself, you go directly to hell. I mean, so, and throughout 40 years of being suicidal, I'm 54, so over 40 years of trying to kill myself. I always knew that. I was raised in church, but the bad part about it, sometimes your perception is your reality. So my perception is like, when it would bother me, like, how do you know that? How do you know that hell is worse? How do you know that there's a hell? Nobody knows that. Nobody's came back and defined and told that. And then when you think like that, you glamorize, the thought and everything. It's glamorized on TV and all this. So those are the little potholes that are set up for you and everything. But it finally hit me one night, man, I don't want to die. I hate what happened to me. I hate what's happening. I hate this. I hate that. I don't want to go, but it seems like it's the only way. And one time, finally, I was at a Desert Eagle 50 caliber to my head. One of the most powerful handgun in the world. Like, this ain't gonna be a situation where I wake up and be brain dead. It's gonna happen. And just, I don't know what it was. It was just a voice that just said, yeah, pull the trigger so you can come be with me. And I was just shocked. I dropped the gun. I was like, if I do that, I have options now. Every day I have options to try to get better or not. I have options. But if I do that, my options are gone. And it's not really, I don't think anyone just wants to go. It's just their perception, what's happening here is worse than what's going to happen afterwards. And some really don't believe that there's an afterwards. But I really believe that there truly is. And that would stop me. And then for some reason, that same reason that should always stop me, the love for my kids and my family and everything, was so empowered that I'd be like, I could never leave them like that. I'm setting them up for failure. I'm moving right out the way as a father and an instrument in their lives to give him a direct line to go and get them. And those are the things that really, cured me of it. And I'm not cured. I still have those thoughts, but I don't entertain them now. I don't glamorize them anymore. Sit and think, what if, how would that be? Who would come? And I just shut the thought down immediately. There's still times where I'm like, man, even this, like, wow, geez. But I'm like, you know what? It's still better than that situation. There's people, still worse off than me. And, I'm not strong, but I look at these guys in a wheelchair and all this, and the combat veterans I talk to, and just people who've lost or had horrible lives who share those lives with me. I'm like, man, our life is so much worse than mine. And here I am going to feel pity over this little petty stuff. And last but not least, and to leave it with, my dream, my thought, my belief is, there's nothing I can do to go to heaven. There's not an inkling thing I can do. It's his decision. So let me just try to live the best life possible. And hopefully he just let me slide in. I'll be the janitor. I don't care. I'll clean the floors or whatever. I just want to get there. And just the belief and the thought that, if that comes to fruition, all the things that comes along with it, there'll be no more unhappiness. There'll be no more age, no more death, anything like that. And you'll find out what true happiness really is. So I'm like, some people are, how do you know this is going to happen? I'm like, well, if you strive to do that, what's the worst that can happen? You're a good person. You're a respectful person. You're a decent person. It's not so bad. It's going to be a fight regardless. If I want to go and be a drug dealer or a murderous bastard, I'm going to have a horrible fight doing that. People are going to be after me. It's going to be really, no matter what you do, it's going to be hard, man. So I might as well strive and try to be a decent person. It's still going to be just as hard. But at least I feel better about myself. So there's no option. There's no back door. And, these are my thoughts. I'm not judging nobody, man. I'm not telling nobody nothing at all. These are my thoughts, and it's just my belief, and I'm comfortable with that. So,
man, that is, bringing you in here and to talk to you. I had this, thought of, talk about, the award you gave out and everything like that, and the way that this took a different direction. I just got to tell you, man, I can't tell you thank you enough, because I really think that right now in this day and age, this kind of talk and being able to see somebody like you talk about this openly and how you get through it and that you still fight with it. It's not something that just ends. I literally think right now, when we put this up, this is going to help people. I mean, this is going to help someone. This will help someone. And, this has been impactful. This is unreal that even like someone like you would never think you went through this. All those years that I've seen that exact photo, and it's a black and white photo.
Yeah, I know.
I know it is. Yeah. And all those years, I just think that, you're this bigger, than life person.
His life is great, man. He got it going on. He got it all. Listen, that guy was so unhappy. I couldn't walk in front of anybody. Am I standing straight? Who's looking at me? Am I breathing right? My stomach up? Am I leaning over? Geez, I look like crap. I want to look in the mirror. It's so imperfect, and it's sad because you look at that guy and think he has it going on. And now, or he's happy, got everything. I've never been happy a day in my life. I've never been comfortable in my skin. I've always been upset. I've always been throwing things in this dark black hole, whether it's money, girls, women, car, this, that, and other, just sucks and gulps it up. at the first time, I mean, I'm thankful. And when I say this is a blessing, because it gave me peace. I just don't care. I mean, people look at me now like, wow, he's imperfected. I'm like, I'm perfect now. That other guy, you look at him and say he's perfect. Are you kidding? This guy's trying to bang himself out on a regular. He ain't perfect. But so I'm just so elated, man. I'm so happy that, that he loved me enough to let this happen for me to be happier. I'd rather live 5 more minutes like this than another 54 years like I was before. So, yeah, man, I'm blessed. Like I said, on stage, the other night, I'm blessed. I'm so happy. It's amazing. I just, sometimes I just can't stop smiling. And I even remember, saying to myself, geez, you can't even smile anymore. I have to force a smile. And just when I get out in front of people, I can't stop smiling, because I'm just like, this is just beautiful, man. It's great. So, yeah.
Man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being willing to talk to us and do this kind of thing. Everybody that's watching at home right now, if you're having these kinds of issues, having this struggle, definitely look deeper, because like he said, he has done so much with his life, and even though a lot of it you said you were unhappy, it gave you the ability to touch others and affect others, and now for you to say that this has been more of a blessing. I think that people should really look into their own lives and see, whenever it comes to unhappiness, what's really affecting you, because I think for you, it took something like this to bring you happiness, which is the exact opposite of what anybody would ever think.
The car or the girl think the guy or the house. If I just making more money, if I just make a little bit more money, if I was a little taller, if my hair was a little longer, if my skin was a little cleaner, whatever, if my skin was a different color. No, man, it all starts with you. It's perception. I can look at it and I can say, damn, I only got half to drink left. Damn. I can be like, you know what? I drank half and I still got half left. Are you kidding me? It's still just freaking half. It's your perception on life. It's your perception on everything. So, people they're like, oh man, I'm really sorry that happened to you. I'm like, no, man. I'm like, this is a blessing. Are you kidding? And they look at me really weird, but I can tell they're like, he's not lying. I'm not. It's beautiful. Are you kidding? Yeah, it's amazing, man. So, hey, how you doing? This is Flex Wheeler, and you're watching Behind the Pump.